Hello everyone, welcome back to the third video in this series of Moodle 101. So in this video, we are going to see how to create quizzes for your subject. Let us begin. So in the last video, we added the outcomes for our subject. Now I have added all the module titles, topic titles, and the subtitles for each and every topics. And now what we are going to do is we are going to create a quiz in any one of the module. Okay, so to create a quiz, the first thing that you have to do is you have to select in which module you want to create the quiz. Okay, so let's suppose you want to create a general quiz or an introductory quiz or something which covers all the modules, then you may add it in the common area, or if it is specific to a particular module, then you can select the add activity or resource in that particular module. Okay, so let us suppose I want to add a quiz in module 1. Okay, so I'm going to click on this button. As soon as I click on this button, you can see there are two types of two types of sections. One is for activities and one is for resources. Okay, so under activities you can see there is a option called quiz. So we are going to see each and every option inside this form, but let us begin with quiz in this particular video. Okay, so we'll select quiz and click on add. So as soon as I click on add, you will be asked for the name of the quiz. Okay, so I can give it a title like quiz on introduction to C. Okay, so quiz on introduction to C. And if you have any further details that you want to provide, that you can put it in the description field. After that, then we have to open the remaining tabs one by one and edit the settings wherever necessary. Okay, so let us begin with timing. Okay, so now the timing is basically when do you want to start this quiz and when do you want to finish this quiz. Okay, so basically the open quiz date, so this is basically the date and this is the time at which it should be visible to the students. Okay, so I can select today's date or I can even select a future date so that it can be open on only on a specific date that you select. Similarly, you can close the quiz at a specific date, and obviously this closing date has to be way ahead of I mean it should be greater than the opening date. Then what I usually prefer is to limit the amount of time the students can take to answer the quiz. So let's say if there are 10 questions, then if it's a MCQ type question, then I may give around, let's say 1 minute for one question. So in all, I would select enable this, and I will just add 10 minutes for the quiz. So what happens is after the time expires, after 10 minutes are over, the quiz is automatically submitted. So the students will not be allowed to use more time than what is being allotted. Okay, so right now I'm not enabling the open and close quiz. Okay, so let's go ahead. Then when time expires, so when this particular time that you have selected, when it expires, what should be done? So normally I would select open attempts are submitted automatically, so this option, so that whatever the students have selected, that is automatically submitted. Okay, uh, then let us go to the grade section. Now the grade section we will see it in another video as to how to design the grade categories. So if once you design the categories, you can select the grade category from here. Then you can set over here how much what should be the passing uh, um, grade required. So let's say there are 10 points, so I would select, let's say, at least 4 should be the passing. Okay, and how many attempts should be allowed? If it's a serious quiz, I would usually allow only one attempt. But if you want to have a quiz where you want the students to attempt multiple times, then you can increase this to a much higher value. Okay, then the layout. Now in the layout, you can select how the question is going to be displayed to the students. So in this particular page, uh, every question will be on a new page, and if you select this, in one page there will be two questions, and if you select other options, those many questions will be there in every new page. Okay, so I usually show only one question every page. So the first option, default option, was okay. Then the question behavior, I usually like to shuffle within the questions. Okay, so I usually select it as yes. And how should be the feedback given to the students? So I usually select deferred feedback, so that once deferred feedback simply means that all the uh, answers to the questions are answered, and then the solutions are shown to the students. Okay, and if you would like to go for immediate feedback, in that case, as soon as the student answers the first question, he will be shown the answer to it. And similarly, other details about the other modes can be seen from this particular page. Okay, you can open the more help page, and you can read what all the different types of question behavior that you can select. Then this is the section where what all the students see during the quiz. Okay, so during the attempt, what all things they can see, immediately after the attempt, what all things they can see, and similarly for the other options. So if you remove, let's say for example, if I remove these things from here, so only after during the attempt they will not be able to see the overall feedback. After the attempt also, they will not be able to see the overall feedback. Then after the quiz, later when this quiz is still open, at that time also they will not be able to see the overall feedback. They will only be able to see the feedback once the quiz is closed. Now the quiz close date, that needs to be set over here, then only that will take effect. Okay, so that can be done over here. So let us just move to the original check boxes. Okay, then finally the appearance, you need not change anything over here. And if you want your questions your quiz to be password protected, then you can add it over here. You can set a password and tell your students to enter this password before attempting the quiz. Then in the overall feedback, this is where you can uh, set the overall feedback that you want to give the students. Like for example, let's say I just put here 50%. Okay, so if your percentage, if your students percentage is between 50 to 100, it will be you can say very good. And if your per feedback percentage is between 0 to 50%, then you will say, let's say, very bad. Okay, just a basically a feedback for the students to understand what is the result. Okay, And if you want more such different slots, then you can add more feedback fields. And then you can, next option parameter is to select the outcome. So let's say topic 1 was covering CO1, so I can select this, and this will simply say that if a student passes this particular test, then that means he successfully completed this particular outcome. Okay, and the remaining things need not be changed. One thing I would like to change is activity completion. Okay, so now here you can set that if the students pass, okay, so should show the activity as complete when conditions are met. So if you select this, then the control will be such that as soon as the students complete the test and pass, they will be given this task, this particular quiz will be marked complete, this particular activity will be marked complete. Okay, so you just have to select this checkbox to set the passing grade. Okay, so once these two checkboxes are set, this activity will be marked complete as soon as the student passes the test. Okay, so after that you just have to click save and display. Okay, so I just have to mention percentage over here and save and display. So now our quiz is created. So now the problem is that there are no questions inside the quiz. So the next step is to edit quiz, and as soon as you get this, you will see the maximum grade of the quiz, that is maximum points that the students will receive. This you can change. Let's say you have 10 questions, so 10 points is enough. Let's say you have more than 10 questions, you can change it to whatever value. Let's say I have only 3 questions, and I will and 1 point for each question, so that is total 3 grade points, and I will click on save. So once this is done, so now grade is saved. Now now is the time where I add the questions. Okay, now to add the questions, you can see a button over here which says add. Just click on this and you will see there are 3 options. I will select the first one, add a new question, and you will get this complete list of options of different types of questions that you can create. So I will be creating, for the time being, I will be selecting a multiple choice question. Okay, so again the category we will see later. For right now the default category is fine. And then let's say the first question, let us say it is question 1. Okay, so which let's write the question in the question text: which compiler is used to compile C programs. Okay, so I have added a simple question, and here you can set the amount of points to be awarded to this particular question. So I have select default is 1, so I will select 1 only. Then here you can select whether there are single answers to this question or multiple answer. So I will select one answer only. So if your question has multiple answers, you can select this. Okay, then shuffle the choices is a good practice, so that the options keep changing, so that the students do not copy the options. Okay, then here we start with the choice. So the first choice, I will say some different choices you can provide. Python, then there is choice 2, let's say PHP, then let's say choice 3 is GCC, and choice 4, let's say Go. Okay, so I have uh, given 4 choices. Now out of this, the correct choice depends on how much grades you give to the particular choice. Okay, so you can have negative markings also. I will show you in a while, in a second, how you accomplish that. But before that, let us first see what is the correct answer. So GCC is the correct answer. So for that, I will select the grade as 100%. Okay, so I will select the grade as 100%, and now for the others you can leave it as none. Okay, and this will help, this will finish the setup of the quiz for this particular question. Now additional things that you can do, like for example, as I already mentioned, if you want to have negative markings, what you can do is, if the student selects Python, so instead of selecting none, what you can do is you can go back and you can say minus 100%. So what happens is, if he answers is correct, he will get 1 marks, and if he answers is it wrong, then he will be, his score will be reduced by 1 marks. So that is what it means by minus 100%. Okay, so usually you don't do minus 100 directly. So usually we prefer to, let's say, 50% negative markings. Okay, so if he answers any wrong option, then he will get a penalty of 50% reduction. Okay, so I will just select 50%, sorry, minus 50%. It has to be minus for reduction. This is 100, this has to be minus. Okay, so this is the correct option, and other 3 options are wrong, incorrect, so they the grade is selected as negative. Okay, now the in between, you must have seen the feedback field. So this is the field that is shown to the students as the as the response to the option that they have selected. Let's say for example, if they have selected Python, then what should be shown to them. Okay, so you can ask the students, so you can show them some hints or something like that, so that the students can, if it's a multiple attempt quiz, then students can guess correctly in the next attempt. Okay, so once all these things are done, then you can come down. Your question is almost done. Now you can come down and you can select the combined feedback field. Okay, so here you can, this is the default that is mentioned over here, that your answer is correct, and your if it's a partial, your answer is partially correct. So right now we don't have this field because we have selected only one answer. If you have multiple answers, then this will be shown if you have selected partial answers. Okay, so currently in our case it will be showing either the answer is correct or the answer is incorrect. So these things also you can change as per your wish. Okay, so finally I will I will show you how to handle multiple tries. So since we are not using this feature, but what you can do is you can do reduction in the score by selecting this percentage. So every attempt that they do, the score will be reduced by 33%, and after reducing the next attempt, you can give them some hint. Okay, so hint 1, you can add any number of hints that you want. Okay, so this can be done, but currently in our scenario we are not using multiple tries. So after this is done, we can click on save changes, and thus we have added the first question. So once that is done, you can add any number of additional questions that you want. Since we have selected 3, so I will be adding 3 more questions. So let's add another question, but this time let us select true or false. Click on add, and let us say it is question number 2, and let us say Dennis invented C language. Okay, invented C language. Dennis Ritchie invented C language. So I have selected the default mark as 1. Uh, so this general feedback is something which is shown to the users as a part of the question. Basically it's like a description to the question, and here you can select the correct answer, whether the answer is true or false. So I would select but the statement is true, so I will select the correct answer as true. Okay, and here you can specify the response, the feedback that the student gets when he selects true and when he selects false. So I can say, let's say good if he selects the correct answer, or if he selects the wrong answer, I can say oh no. Okay, so again multiple tries, I'm not using it, so I will just skip and click save. So that adds my second question, and I will add another final question. Let's say this time we select matching. Okay, so in the matching, let's name it as question number 3. Okay, so match, matc, match the language. Okay, so just a question, match the language, then the marks, 1 marks. Okay, so the language is the question is basically is match the language. So here what you do is you actually provide question and then options, and then in the during the quiz all the 3 answers will be visible in all the 3 questions, and the users will have to select the appropriate. Basically it will be like a matching of the question to the answer. Okay, okay, so I have added 3 options, and combined feedback, multiple tries, I don't need it right now, so I will click on save changes, and thus we have created the test successfully. So now I will go back to my quiz, and you can see that right now my quiz is live. If I go back to my subject, you can see there is a new activity called the quiz. Okay, so now I will just show you how it looks from the student's perspective. To change the role and to preview how it looks for the students, you can just click on your profile and click on switch role and click on student. So this will just fake your profile to act like a student. You can see over here it is written student, and here you can see all the editing options are gone. So now now you can try to see, check whether your quiz works properly or not. You can select next. So I can say attempt quiz and start attempt. So you can see the timer has started and there are 3 questions. uh, so you can start answering the attempt, and the answer is saved. So finally I have somewhat around 9 minutes left. I will click on submit all and finish. So as soon as I submit, you can see my score is 3 out of 3 because obviously I knew all the answers. So, and you can see the overall feedback, because it is 100%, we have already programmed that between 50 to 100 it should show me very good, and between 0 to 50 it should show me very bad. Okay, so it is working perfectly. And here you can also see what is the feedback. That means what was the correct your answer and the correct answer. So that finishes how to add quiz in Moodle. I hope you liked the video. See you in the next video.